you've decided you want to start a teacher business and you've even figured out who you want to help, but now you're starting to wonder, what should I create? How should I help with them? Well, this week we're going to be diving into how you can go about helping your clients. So with that being said, let's dive in. So in last week's content, or part one of the series, we talked about who you should help. We talked about how you can figure out who you should start helping in your business. That way you can gain some clarity on where to even start in your business. In this part, in part two, we're going to be diving into how can you go about helping your ideal client that you came up with in the first lesson. So before we dive in too much, I want to dive in a little bit more on my personal story and how I got started and how I decided to start helping new and first year teachers. So again, when I started my business, it was around COVID, and I noticed a lot of new and first year teachers didn't have the time to create digital resources they needed online for virtual learning. So I personally decided to start creating TPT products. I started creating TPT products particularly for those in kindergarten because that's what I was using. And oftentimes I would create resources for my classroom and then I ended up posting them online. Now, that's the first thing, and I just decided to go with that because that's what felt right at the time. I saw a gap, I saw a need, I was creating these resources anyways, so that's why I decided to start with TPT products. After a little time passed, I started to realize that I wanted to create something more knowledge-based to help new and first-year teachers thrive in the classroom. So I started the Present Teacher Circle and Classroom Kickstart mini course. I started creating courses online on how new and first-year teachers can start leaving at contract time, land their first dream job, set up their classroom, and everything in between. And what I liked about these is it was a lot like TPT products in the way that I could create them once and then post them. And then all I had to do was edit them here and there. But for the most part, they were there for the teachers that needed them, which I really, really liked. And there were just some things that, like landing your first teaching position, for instance, that a TPT product just wasn't going to be able to serve as deeply as I wanted that a product, that a course could do. So after I did that for a bit, I started getting inquiries about specific circumstances, or maybe just working with me as a coach one-on-one. So that's when I started adding coaching into my business, and I started taking on new and first-year teachers who wanted help with things like how to organize their classroom, how to plan weeks out in advance, how to figure out how to balance it all so they could start their own business. All of these things kind of led to that whole sequence of my personal journey. So with all that being said, now that you know a little bit about my journey, here's a quick caveat I want to give you, and that is your journey is your journey. I could have started a completely different way. I could have had teachers reach out asking me for help. I could have coached them one-on-one, then created TPT products, then went to courses, or maybe I could have started with courses. I really wanted to help new teachers get their first teaching position, and then I went to coaching and then TPT products. It doesn't matter. It could have gone any way, and there's no right or wrong. It's just based off of what you desire and what you want to do. I know teachers out in the teacher business world who started with courses, added TPT products, and are now coaching. I know other teacher business owners who are coaching first, then they created courses, and then they started products. There's no wrong way. It's just a matter of what you want to do, and your journey is your journey. So if you hear somebody online say, oh, the right way to start your business is you have to do a course and there's no other way, or you have to do a membership, there's no other way, those are all lies, and please don't listen to them. Like I said, so many teachers out there who are being successful in their business are creating with the resources that they want first, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's totally a lot of different ways you can get started, and so go with mostly. What I'm going to say here is, if you couldn't get in trouble, nobody could get mad at you, not only who do you want to help, who do you get excited to hang out with, who feels like it's so easy to help them that you almost feel like guilty for charging them for helping them, but it comes so naturally to you. Who do you want to help? And then what do you want to help them with? How do you want to help them? So with all that being said, here are the different types of content you might consider as you are debating whether or not to create TPT resources or to create courses. So the first thing you can create are digital products or physical products. I'm going to dive into both. So digital products are products online that are easy to use, a quick download, and they don't require a lot of training. This could be things like templates, curricula, journals, meal plans, or done for you meal plans, all those kinds of things, but things that are easy to download and take, activities, worksheets, digital games, all of these things save teachers time because they're able to go and download it, and they don't have to create it or spend a bunch of time putting a bunch of resources together to create the one thing you created. So that's the first thing that you might consider. Now, if you want to do physical products instead of digital products, it's the same thing where you give them like a quick win or something that's easy for them to grab and go, but it might be something that they can physically hold. Some examples could be things like jewelry, planners, journals, notebooks, art, t-shirts, all sorts of things, personalized sweaters. I mean, there are a ton of different businesses you could start. So physical products are another idea you can start with if that's something you're passionate about or excited about. The second different type of content or resource you can use or to help your ideal person are knowledge or courses. So courses are going to be how you share knowledge with your ideal person. And it's an easy way to consume it. So typically a course online includes lessons, modules, units, stuff like that, and they help your teacher achieve something. So for example, Land Your Dream Job is my course that helps teachers prepare to land their first teaching position in a single weekend. I have gone through and I've picked out all the strategies I've used, and as someone who's on the interview committee, I've seen other teachers use, and I've coached other teachers to use, that helps them stand out and make them feel, the interview committee feel like, you know, the person who is interviewing has been reading their mind and is the perfect person for them. That's a knowledge-based thing, and that's a course because it's lessons and it shows teachers how to do something online. The third type of resource you can create is coaching. So coaching is where you work one-on-one with someone, or you could do group coaching where you work with a group of people, but essentially you work one-on-one with someone to help them accomplish something. Like life coaching, you help them overcome an obstacle. Maybe they've recently divorced, maybe they're going into motherhood, maybe you help someone with classroom management, maybe you help somebody with teaching math, a second language learners, students with disabilities. There are a ton of different examples of this. So coaching it's a little more intimate where you're getting that one-on-one, whereas with courses, it's one-to-many. I can create a course and as many people that want to take it can take it. There's no cap. And same with the products. So many people can download it, but I'm never interacting with them, or I rarely do on a personal level on TPT, because they download it, they take it, they run with it. So what I like about coaching is a little more intimate. So if you are someone who tends to be a little more sociable and you really love to vibe off that interaction, then coaching might be a good option for you. A different kind of coaching, if you are a service and you want to create a service for somebody, is you can do done for you services. This could be like a website designer, creating curriculum, creating a health plan, balancing out hormones, or maybe even being a VA. These are different kinds of ways you can do done for you services, and that's another way to help your ideal client. So with all that being said, you might be wondering, now that we've talked about the different ways on how you can help your ideal client, you might be thinking, which one should you start with? And the answer is whichever one you want to start with. A great example of this, if someone would have told me when I first started my teacher business here at the Present Teacher Circle to start with one-on-one coaching, I would have turned pale as a ghost and I would have ran away, because I was naturally a little more shy and not as confident with my personal one-on-one connections and relationships and interactions. That wasn't exactly where I was passionate about. I didn't get excited about that. What I was excited about was, hey, I'm really excited about these fun games and activities and assessments I'm creating online for my students. I really want to share them with other teachers online so they can use it too. Lean with whatever you feel passionate about and whatever you're excited about. Remember what I said earlier, there's no wrong way to go about this. There's only listening to you and your own intuition. So with that being said, here is a question to think about, or your homework for this week's content. If no one could be mad at you, how do you want to help your clients? What's the first way? This doesn't have to be the set in stone only way. I shared about how I started with TPT products, then courses, then coaching, and now I do all three. They're just naturally set up for me. But there's no wrong answer here. But you don't have to choose something and set in stone. What do you want to start with first? What are you excited about first? What's something that you're like, ooh, you know what? I can help new moms balance their hormones with a PDF guide on a meal plan. Great. Whatever you're excited about and you want to sit down and you're passionate about helping them with, that's a great idea for a first step. Now, there's probably going to be, I'm sure, some comments or questions about, some people say you have to have so many years of experience before you start courses or before you start coaching. I don't believe that's true at all. Granted, you do want to have a little bit of experience with whatever you're helping other people with. So for example, I wanted to help new and first year teachers because I had just overcame helping or being a new and first year teacher. So I had some experience. The realistic thing is you don't have to be a perfectionist. You don't have to be a master. You don't have to be an expert on anything to help somebody. I am not an expert when a student teacher comes in. I know more than they do simply because I've been in it longer and my personal experience has taught me specific skills and specific strategies that I can pass on down to them, but it doesn't make me an expert. You can just be a couple steps ahead of who you want to help, and that is perfectly fine. When I first started helping new and first year teachers, I was only in my second and third year, and that's totally okay because I felt like at that point, I felt confident enough to help new and first year teachers overcome what I had just gone through. And so that's totally fine. So anyways, rounding that up, great courses or products, whatever you want to come up with next. The things that I created that made the most impact are typically things I wanted to do instead of what someone told me to do. I shared this story with the last week's content, but I had a teacher business coach who told me, don't bother helping new and first year teachers, don't bother creating courses because nobody's gonna buy it, don't create TPT products. And if I had listened to them, I wouldn't have created the community I have today. So make sure you're listening to advice that feels aligned with you and go with what feels good to you. When it feels good, when it makes you feel excited, when you're like, oh, that's it, ooh, I'm really excited to dive into this, that shows that you're in alignment. That shows that that is the right next step. Whereas if you get told advice like, hey, I think you should create a course right now, and you're secretly thinking, man, I'm dreading this. I really don't want to do this. Ugh. And it's not out of fear, but it's out of you just genuinely don't want to, then that's showing misalignment. And maybe you should take some time to reconsider what you're doing next. So with all that being said, the question is, if no one could be mad at you, there was no wrong answer, how do you want to help your clients first? Last week, we talked about who you want to help. Now let's talk about how do you want to help them first, the first thing you want to help them with. And then from there, let's say I want to help, second language teachers teach language acquisition. I can create a course on that, or a mini course or something like that. Or maybe I want to do one-on-one coaching with a couple of teachers first. There's no wrong answer, but getting clear on who you want to help and now how you want to help them is really going to help you take the next step and get clear on what kind of resource you want to create first. So that wraps up what kind of product you should create or resource you should create for your teacher business. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments or send me a DM. What are you going to be creating first? Are you going to be creating a course, and who are you helping? I would love to find out all of the amazing teacher businesses that are going to start. If you want a step up into and answers to the top 10 questions I get asked about starting your teacher business, make sure to download the Ultimate Teacher Business Guide. In there, I answer 10 questions I get about starting your teacher business, and I link to upcoming podcasts and YouTube videos before they're posted, so you get a sneak peek so that you can start diving into content in regards to how you can start the teacher business of your dreams. And if you want to learn more, make sure to subscribe to wherever you're tuning in, because I will be releasing more content in the coming weeks, including part 3 of the series on how to start your very own teacher business. So, as always, remember, we are stronger together, and I will see you in the next one, Teacher Bestie. Bye!